Alright guys, so this is going to be a segment of X-Men Part 2 of Rebuild, Refurbish, Repair, Restore, whatever you want to call it. So I'm looking at the Simpsons cabinet here because we are going to have to fix all of this bracing in here on X-Men. So I'm trying to get a feel of where it needs to be so I can get it in here right. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go take a look out there and see what we're looking at. Alright, so I had 3 screws here. 1, 2, 3. I'm still working on taking this one out, but before I did, I wanted to explain what was going on. That's breaking this piece loose. I'm thinking that basically I can cut an appropriate size length, whatever size this board is, and add this much on here. And we'll put this new one in here, and that should put that bottom brace just like it is on Simpsons. I'll measure it with a measuring tape, make sure it's high enough, and then if it is, I will I have to sand some of this crud off this wall in here so it's smooth again. You can see this one's much smoother. Something I can glue to. And then I'll put some bracing behind it, and then you're going to have to figure out this top. So anyways, what I'm going to be working on, guys, is trying to reconstruct the monitor mounts in here. And I hope it works out. Alright guys, so I got to put my 3 bolts back in. And I got this back down in here with a brace glued and stapled in behind it. So when that dries, it'll become solid again. I got it glued there too. Let's see it squeegeed out a little bit. Looking good so far. Measuring right on with the Simpsons. Okay. So I put this broken monitor in here because, well, it's just lighter to pick up. Seems like the original bezel would fit tight to the glass. At least it does over here. I mean, it looks like it bends away because, well, it does because this bezel's a little bit messed up. But for the most part, it fits in there. I mean, it's not a huge, like, block or anything, you know. Like, it can't fit. So if the monitor needs adjusted in or out a little bit, I suppose I'll find a way to do that. But I noticed when I was getting it put in there, it was fitting back in kind of tight. So I think like where these rails are, I'm going to have to cut some relief spots in the wood so you know, the back parts of the cage that go right there can slide through the wood. I think that's more of my issue right now. So I'll have to do that with my router. I'll have to mark them and then make my relief cuts down up and in the wood. I'm just going to measure the frame from the wall to basically center the monitor and hope that it works out. But framing's in now. It's glued, all stapled. Gonna let it dry, and then I'll cut them relief notches and take this good old monitor in and out a few times because it's just really super light, and it's pretty much size of a monitor. It might be a little bit funky, like this corner that's bent. It's just kind of to mock it up, though. Alright. Okay, so I got 4 inches from the edge measured. 4 inches from the edge measured. That'll get me where the bolts need to go through for the wood. And I'm going to cut about 1/4 inch of this out. So this stuff has enough room to pass through. And then this here can sit on the wood. I'm hoping that's enough. Should be. I got a big mess to clean up, guys. That is horrible. Alright, guys. 4 inches from the side. That's where I cut in. Cut out about 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch. I don't know. Looked like it'd be enough. I'm gonna find out. Play with glass, you get poked. Anyways, it fits in a lot nicer now. It can be moved and shifted around. You know, I'm gonna have to get one that's unbent to put in here when I get the shroud and all that, so I can get it placed just right and the holes drilled and the T-nuts put in. But I can take this in and out without scraping the top now and all that, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. I might bring the monitor out and go ahead and pre-fit it before I get everything painted. That way, so I know right where it needs to go and I'm not messing around with stuff after it's finished. But yeah, I got a little pinhole in my hand. So that's what happens, guys. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm gonna let it dry up now. And well, like I said, probably finish up that monitor. And then the next thing here is going to be this door right here. And cleaning up that frickin' glass. Alright. Gonna start stripping off this work. I have 36 grit on the belt sander. Gonna roughly tear it off and then maybe move to a finer grit. I'll check it out in a few minutes. Alright guys, so it's been about 10, maybe 15 minutes. I got the cabinet pretty much stripped. The waterlogged bottom is flat. I'm gonna drip a little bit of super glue into this wood, harden it up. Then I'll Bondo everything. I gotta remove this corner so I can finish this corner right here. I don't think there's anything broke behind here. This coin door area, it's just they did this with it. They made it so it can be opened. I'm gonna have to tear this apart and make a new front here, guys. So that'll be. I'm gonna finish up this sanding the side here. I'm gonna probably flip it over and sand the other side. Then I'm gonna pull this front door out, or front panel here, and make a new one to put back in here the right way. And I'm also going to make a new back door. So at that point, the whole cabinet will be, all the side art will be off the cabinet and all the wood will be repaired. So then I'll have to do some sanding on, you know, the speaker grill area and the top and the back a little bit. And they'll be ready for primer. So I'll be taking some shots here and there of what's going on. Alright, fellas. So, I'm going to pull this off now and get this down to the wood. And I'm going to take probably 60 grit. I'm going to try 60 grit on my orbital sander and finish removing all this. I don't want to get too heavy out here with the belt sander and accidentally, you know, come across it wrong and really gouge the edge where the T-molding goes. I have a little bit more control over my orbital sander than that monster. Alright, so that's off. Can go ahead and strip this T-molding off now. And then, yep, get to that. Sweet, about 30 seconds. Alright, fellas, sanded across the bottom of this to get a lot of the loose particles out in the dirt. Now I'm going to run some super glue along this bottom to stiffen it up. Not that it's soft. It is hard, but, you know, you got all these little fibers that just keep coming loose. So I'm going to secure them in there with super glue. It'll get hard like glass, and then I'll finish straightening it out with Bondo. And here's somebody else's some body work. Is that from the factory or somebody else did it? I don't know. There's another little piece right there. So they just Bondoed through the side art. This might be factory or from the wood manufacturer. Okay, so there's 2 tubes of super glue here, just these little tubes here. You can see how wet it still is. It didn't soak it in as much as I thought it was going to, so the wood's a little better than I thought. Since this wood around here isn't too bad, I'm not gonna even bother with it. I'm just gonna cover it over with Bondo, and then when I sand it down, any loose stuff that's here, which really isn't a whole lot, will just be in the Bondo. But I'm gonna wait for this to harden and dry up. I figured that was gonna soak in. When this wood's really porous and you put some super glue on it, or I would imagine wood hardener, I've never used that though, you'll see it just keep drawing in. And once it draws in enough and it's impregnated enough in all the porous spots, it will get wet on the outside because it can't soak in anymore. And this stuff really didn't soak in too well, so I just kept putting it on there anyways. So that's how I do that. Alright guys, while I'm sitting here waiting for that glue to dry, I was looking at this area here because I'm going to pack this full of Bondo like I always do to cut a new slot. So this tight will be slaughter for the T-molding. I don't want to put new T-molding in this old slot because I don't know. I like to make a new slot. Even though it's cutting this old one out. But the Bondo packs in there and, you know, you get a new slot, basically. But I'm not going to do any Bondo work on this side yet. I think I'm going to roll the other side over and pull the artwork off of it, because I need to take this front door out, all of it. And I don't want to have any Bondo in here when I remove this. So I think I'm going to put in the new front before before I Bondo the bottoms here in the cabinet to repair it. So I don't know how well this video came out, but what they did here is they cut the front right here and right here, put a hinge on this side, as you can see, and then made that whole front open. And they put crown molding or baseboard, whatever you want to call it, around here. So hang on. And they put their own frame in here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and sand the artwork off the other side, then get this cabinet stood back up on its feet, and remove this front, build the new front, put in and glue it, and, you know, secure it the way it needs to be. And then after the new front is in, I will you know, do the bondoing. That makes sense, guys. Sorry for bullshitting, but you know, I don't always know what I'm gonna say, so I ramble on. Okay, so you can see this side here before I start. Crumbly loose wood is definitely swole some, especially right here as it comes out. It's swole out. So when I'm coming across it with the belt sander, I'll run the belt sander like this, bringing the edge out over this edge to, it'll eat the high spot down, keeping it level and flat here. It'll eat this high spot out first. So I also need to remove the back door because I need to get rid of these bolts here. So I'm gonna have to remove the back door, take off the corner protector, then I'm gonna run the belt sander on here. So I'll be on as soon as I'm done belt sanding. Okay, just wanted to show back door's off. I'm going to start grinding now. Okay, this side took me a bit longer. As you know, the belt wears down. This is nice and flat now. I'm gonna go ahead and run a sander in here to get out the loose crud. Sorry there. Sometimes I move this camera too fast. This will pick that stuff out of there. So anyways, I'm gonna hit this with the orbital sander now. Take off the whatever's left, and I'm gonna glue up this wood wherever it soaks it in at, and then I might do something with this back real quick. I don't know. All right, guys. So I got that sanded. I went across the bottom here flat like this. That's what all this heavy wood chunks is from. Feels pretty solid now. So I'm gonna go ahead and go across this wherever it soaks in with glue. And I'm gonna let it soak in so it can harden up these little chips. Then I think I'm gonna, after that, I'm gonna flip this around so maybe the front is facing up, and then I'll work on taking out that front door contraption. All right, I have 8 tubes across here. From right here, oh, I'd say right about in here, it's soaked in really, really well. It really soaked in a lot right here, so I just kept putting it on there. That's why it really looks so wet right now. But you know, it's hardened up now. So once this dries up good, I'll be able to Bondo it. But I'm gonna go ahead and take out this front door here first. So I'll be back when I get into this mess. Okay, so from the bottom to the top, 31 inches. From in here down to the other side is 27 3/4 wide. And then of course I'll have to dovetail each side to slide in this slot. So there's so I don't forget. 27 3/4, 31 inches. All right, guys. One last check out of this monstrosity of whatever you want to call it. Anyways, I was taking these coin doors out and I thought of something. So some of you are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you might not, but I've seen this more than once. And I've had it also commented on my channel too about my breathing. So I'll tell you what. I'm fucking fat and I smoke. See them in there? I smoke cigarettes. I'm fat and I'm out of shape. So I'm going to breathe heavy. Because sometimes I come on here right after lifting one of these cabinets or something to record a clip. And I'm breathing heavy because I was just exerting myself. So I'll tell you what. Whoever makes the comments about people's breathing, fuck off. Don't even watch my fucking shit if you're going to be a prick like that. So just go fuck off somewhere. And I think I speak for the rest of us that bust our ass on these things and hurry up and come on to record a fucking clip of what we're doing just for you to make a snide-ass fucking comment about our goddamn breathing. So go fuck off. The rest of you, you know, don't take that personally, but, you know, I am fat and sometimes I breathe hard, so, you know, it's just what it is. Alright, guys. Here's the deal with this that I didn't realize before. Now, we know that this is tongue and grooved up the sides. And you can see right here, they dead wood braced it. Screwed into here and screwed into the side of the cabinet. And I realized when I was taking the bolts out of this dead wood that this floor is probably tongue and grooved along the bottom here. Now when they would have assembled the cabinet, they would have started with one side, basically put the backs in this front end and then set the other side in. I'm not going to have that, so I'm going to have to cut the tongue in each side here so it can be slid down in. And I'm going to basically have to dado the whole bottom of the wood until where it should come down and set on the floor. And that'll allow me to put dead wood on the inside here for bracing as well as on the bottom side. It's just however deep this groove is, it's going to be shallow. It's going to be missing from the bottom. So I think when I put the dead wood in on the bottom, I'm just going to remove these and put it all the way across. One solid piece, sort of like I did in NARC. And that'll brace everything so it won't come apart and will be solid like it should be, and I can put it together. I think that's how it's going to have to be done. I haven't pulled this off yet, but I'm pretty dang sure there's going to be a groove cut in this wood to go around the floor like this. So, I'll let you know in a minute. Luckily, whoever cut this and made this door, they already cut it right here. And I believe it's just glued in because I can move it. So, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, just as I suspected, it's grooved. So when I make my new piece, I'm also going to have to dado off this much wood. So when it slides in, it can come down in over this groove and then set on this ledge. And then I'll have to dead wood it from this side and this side. It'll be fine. That's what's going to happen. Now, I'm going to try to remove these pieces without damaging the wood that would be on the outside here. So I hope they're probably glued from the factory, but I don't know. But I'm going to try to tap it this way and that way and just try to break it loose without destroying this wood right here. So if I end up ruining any of this wood on the outside here, I'm going to have a hell of a lot of bondoing to do and figuring out how to straighten it back out. Okay, guys. So I had a little piece bust out on this upper side up there, so I've got it glued and clamped in there. It's gonna need sanded and a little bit of Bondo on it probably. Well, I know it will. This side didn't come off too bad. Now this side is a different story. I didn't have any bust outs to the top, but I did at the bottom. Not superly worried about that, because I can just put a wider piece of dead wood in here to get glued back into here. I'm not really worried if the inside looks factory. I just want, you know, when you look at the machine on the outside, it looks the way it should. I'm not that pure. But anyways, I'm going to take the whatever that molding is off around the outside of there. So I have something to use as a pattern to cut the doors holes out in the new wood. I'm gonna leave this piece in here for right now because it kind of has it held where it should be, so you know the sides ain't gonna sway out or anything. I have to clean in this crack, try to get as much of that glue and leftover wood in there as possible out. Once this piece dries, I can unclamp it. Then I'm going to hit all this black area with the sander, because this is, I believe it's some kind of latex paint. Then I can smooth everything out. And, well, I'll need a piece of wood. I don't know, guys. I think in the end it'll be alright, but right now I'm a little bit worried about it. So I think I'm going to end this video here. I don't know how many clips I got. I don't want to bore everybody. So this is the end of X-Men Rebuild, Restore, Repair, Refurbish, whatever you want to call it. Part 2. Like, subscribe, share, shit like that. Alright, peace.